Will there be a market crash in 2022? Absolutely not. In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 main reasons of why there will not be a market crash and why we're going to see continual appreciation in homes throughout the year of 2022. This is not my usual studio where I film. I usually am filming out in the great outdoors of Colorado, but today is an extremely windy day. Maybe you'll be able to hear it through my car a little bit, and maybe you'll see the trees moving from the wind, but not a great day for filming outside, so I decided just to sit down in the car and film some videos. I know it's the start of the year, lots of good content coming your way. So again, I'm Landon, and I'm the marketing manager and an associate broker for Modestate. Modestate is a real estate brokerage located in Castle Rock, Colorado that services the whole greater Denver and greater Colorado Springs areas with any real estate needs. If you've seen our videos before, welcome back. It's glad to have you again. We hope to provide you with even more value. And if it's your first time, welcome to the channel. Feel free to like the video, comment below what you thought about these 3 reasons of why there's not going to be a market crash in 2022. And of course, as always, subscribe while hitting that little bell notification icon so that you're always up to date with the new videos that we're posting. I just recently made a video about the 10 market predictions that we have for Colorado's housing market going into 2022. So you're seeing a little snippet of that video now. You can click the card above, and there's also going to be a link in the description. Both of those will take you to that video if you want to learn more about Colorado's housing market and what we are predicting going into this new year. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the 3 reasons of why we are not going to see a housing market crash in the United States, and especially in Colorado going into 2022. I think if you're watching this video, you might be a little bit concerned because over the last few years, from 2019 to now to 2022, we've been seeing lots of appreciation in homes. There's been a lot of competition in the market, so it's a little bit concerning being a buyer. I know because I just recently bought a home. It was very concerning, thinking, wow, well, what's the point in buying a home if the market's just going to crash? Or I just need to wait for the market to crash and then I'll be able to afford a home at a price that I'm more comfortable with. So I definitely relate to that. I understand what you're thinking and feeling. There is always a slight chance of a market crash, and it's something that you can't always 100% predict. But today we're going to be talking about the 3 things, the 3 variables in this equation that are preventing the market from crashing. Let's flash back to 2007, 2008, 2009, when we saw what some people said was the biggest housing market crash, biggest drop in home prices since the Great Depression. It was obviously a terrible time. A lot of people lost a ton of value in their homes. A lot of people had foreclosed on homes. I know people personally who got so burned by this housing market crash that they have been renting ever since, and they have not wanted to go back into the housing market, which if that happened to me, that would be hard. It would be very hard to risk your money, risk your time, risk equity and things like that when you got burned so bad. But there's a lot of things that are different now in 2022 from the 2007 to 2009 timeframe. So jumping into our first reason of why there will not be a housing market crash in 2022. Lending standards are much tighter than they were back 10, 15 years ago. Back when the housing market crashed, lenders were giving money and giving loans to literally anybody with a pulse. You could literally apply for a loan, get a house when you couldn't afford it, and it was terrible. So that's one of the big reasons why we saw a huge crash in the market back in that time frame, is because lenders were giving out money like crazy, like no tomorrow. Anybody, no matter what their qualifications or debt or income was, there were very, very little restrictions and very, very little structure on who people could lend money to. Nowadays, lenders are very careful because they learned from that experience back in 2008, 2009. So they're very careful with who they lend money to. If you have, certain amounts of debt, or if you don't have the right income to qualify for the home that you're looking to purchase, you won't get money. You won't get the loan. So that's definitely a huge aspect, a huge thing that is impacting the stability of the current market in the state that it's in now. Jumping into our second reason of why we will not see a market crash in 2022. People nowadays have more equity in their homes, not only in Colorado, but across the nation, than they did by landslides back in that market crash of 2008. For example, in 2020, the grand majority of homeowners had 200,000 plus equity in their homes. So that provides for a very, very stable housing economy. Back in 2008, there were many people who were completely underwater in their homes. So the fact that people own a fair amount of their homes, have a lot of equity in it, provides for a much more stable housing economy, a housing market, and this will definitely help prevent the market from crashing going into this upcoming year. Okay, for the third and final reason of why we will not see a housing market crash in 2022. This is because housing prices have had slow, gradual price markups over the last 10 years. Now, I see what you might be thinking. Landon, holy cow, like the housing market in Colorado especially has been jumping up like crazy in 2020 and 2021. Like, what are you even talking about? Well, compared to 2007, 2008, 2009, and the years leading into that, it's not quite the same. There were immense price markups back then as well. The bigger issue is that these markups were going throughout the whole year. So in 2021, for example, we saw huge jumps in prices and appreciation in like June and July in the summer months. But that's pretty common. It's always common for the majority of appreciation to happen during the summer months. That's when there are the most buyers. That's when the housing market is moving, inventory is moving the most. So it's very common to see large amounts of appreciation in summer months, like July, for example, this year was huge. The thing is, we didn't see that consistent crazy jumps in, 10% in July, 20% in August. We didn't see that throughout the whole year. For example, in the winter, appreciation really slowed down, which is normal, which is healthy. Big appreciation in the summer months, slower in the fall and winter months. That's what happened this year. That's what happened last year. That's what happened in 2019. So, and again, over the last 10 years, ever since the housing market crash of 2008, we've seen that slower, gradual increase in prices throughout the year and throughout the years, the last decade. Compared to 2007, 2008, 2009, that when there were just crazy amounts of people lending money to people who really shouldn't have qualified for it. People didn't have that much equity in their homes, and the price markups were just appreciating like no tomorrow. There are a lot of differences in the housing market of 2022, which provides for a much more stable housing market, much more stable economy, showing us that we're probably not going to see a housing market crash. The chances are very slim. As I mentioned before, some of these things are just completely unpredictable. But if you are still concerned and want more information about the Colorado's housing market, you can watch the video that I just made today as well about our 10 predictions and 10 insights of Colorado's housing market in 2022. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate having you here. Please leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about the video. What are your thoughts about the housing market crash? If you think I'm totally 100% wrong, I'd love to know it in the comments, and I'll chat with you about it. I'd love to talk about that. Like the video, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, and as always, my name is Landon, and we will see you on the next video.